So you may or may not be able to see here, but we did add some setup changes to the car this week. So setup change number one, we did opt to move our servo back in the chassis and swapped all that configuration around. Shout out to Golden Jesus for our turnbuckle. If you guys were gonna buy one of these, they are around like $8 or $9. So we took out the stock 7mm shim, we replaced it with two 3mm shims for a total of 6. So we did take 1mm out here, and then we added 2mm down in the bottom arm, which brought our front camber to around -11 degrees. You guys with the adjustable turnbuckles can match this. You guys that may be on the fence about them, I like the shims personally because they allow you to make accurate measurements and changes, especially you guys that don't have setup stations or a way to measure your camber or any of your other setups. The shims definitely help make that job a little more precise. You don't need any extra parts. You can actually unscrew the stock stuff that comes in the ready to run and just replace it with a different size shim because it is a set screw inside there. However, on the lower arm, it required you to take off both toe blocks so you could remove the arm out because there is a screw that comes from the inside this way down the arm. So to remove that, you did have to take all that out. The benefit though was we had to remove and take a bunch of that stuff out anyway to switch to this servo. So all in all, not a big deal. It took about 45 minutes of disassembly and reassembly and just, you know, making sure it all works. Shout out to Steven for doing all that labor and legwork on it, man. Appreciate you very much. I just got to kind of come in at the end and do the final button up. We did also switch to these titanium turnbuckles. These will be available in our shop in just a couple days, guys. I know we had a huge surge of people come to the site looking for parts, and we heard you loud and clear, so we are coming with some option parts that will allow you to make your setup even better. So we found out that the stock ball studs on the MSTs are actually 4.8, which is a shared size with Yokomo. So we did switch out our turnbuckle ends for these Yokomo units, and they're really nice and smooth, no friction, even on the MST balls. And then the titanium turnbuckles just ensure that we kept everything really nice and lightweight, and to where we're not shifting our weight balance around in the car that we're actively searching for to make better. But you can see overall, I mean, we've got a ton of steering available in the car, and we're gonna continue dialing in the Ackerman on it and making it work. It's really weird, it looks like it's towed in there, but it's not, I can assure you. So, a little bit of play and stuff in the ready to runs. Pretty normal standard stuff. I did come in too, and I just kind of cleaned up all of our wiring, so I just put a nice little bend in that guy, tucked all these up, remounted our receiver back here. Remember, it was right in this area before, but we don't have room there, so to keep everything kind of tucked and nice and out of the way and everything, it just was where it needed to be. So guys, the car is driving phenomenally. I really would suggest these changes as essentially your stage one. If the car feels undrivable here, I would venture to say 9 out of 10 people, that means you need a driver mod and not a further vehicle modification.
You sure do like to share your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening. It's so fun and games until it doesn't. Toss me out, I'll hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. full name. So sorry, but we're not the same. No, we're not the same. Boo-hoo, poor you, please forgive me, cause I don't feel any pity. I'm fed up with lies, you wanted my demise. Now you're watching me rise, rise, rise. Up in the window, smaller and smaller you fade out. Up, up, up in the window, yeah. You cannot get my vibe, no there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe, no there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Up in the window. Up in the window. Up in the window. Up in the window.
Watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate, levitate. Watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate.
Watch me levitate. You cannot kill my vibe, no there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot kill my vibe, no there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Hey, hey, watch me levitate.
From the videos and stuff, I mean, it's got a ton of front grip and it's got a ton of room to grow once we can start addressing the electronics. So I think our week 3 video is going to kind of wrap as far as we feel like you're going to take a stock setup, and from here it's going to be the need to begin upgrading stuff. So I guess the big question is going to be, you know, do we upgrade steering and gyro first? Personally, I mean, the steering, it's not amazing, but it's holding up and still there. So where we are hitting limitations is the down low power band. There is just a little bitty delay, actually called cogging, where this non-sensored motor is struggling to find its starting position. So it hesitates just for a second when you hit the trigger. It's very, very hard to notice it until you're right in the down low RPMs and you're really looking for that finite control in a turn, or if you are locking up on some doors with people. The gyro is functioning just fine. I don't think that's going to be a point in which we need to address. I also feel like, like I said, the servo is holding up. We put a good battery in it. It's going to be between upgrading the radio or upgrading the motor in ESC. So you guys tell me, what do you think we should do? Do you think it should be a motor? Do you think it should be a radio? All of the above? Drop us a comment below. This area here will be the hardest thing to eliminate, essentially needing to run one continuous line to where you join. When you stop and or fall out of the groove, it will create either a darker black spot or you'll have a fallout like you did here. Both of these reasons are why I think this is more of like your God level skill with your hands as far as like steadiness is concerned. I definitely do not have that trait. I need all the help, tips, and tricks I can do just to draw a straight line out like that. So I like and prefer stickers over the markers for that reason. You can see though, like, I mean, it's not the worst job, you know? I mean, you could be better. It could be worse. Now this is one of those things though, okay? So right now we're eyeing this thing, like we're hitting it hard with the details. And the reason I do that is because, you know, a lot of the time we're gonna take a picture in this kind of orientation, you know, nice and close up. So you want it to look real. And from this angle, I mean, it's not terrible. Obviously the gap and panel lines on this are terrible. Like you would not want to have a gap that hard on your hood or your fenders. So that's another thing that I do not like the panel line pens for. Like these are discontinued as far as I know, but these Parma pens, they were double-ended, so you had, you know, a skinny end, like a fine point Sharpie, and then you had more of like a marker end. And I use this end to get these lines, you know, and this is the thinnest that they had, and it's super, super thin, you know. I mean, it lays a mark down. We're talking, you know, teeny, teeny, tiny, but it does not have that same effect on the body. And you'll always need to do multiple passes, in my opinion, just for the fact that the black will not be as strong. Here, I could show you guys this, right? So we'll lay a mark down on the body. That's with the marker. One nice stroke, that's good. Decently thin, right? Don't worry, I know you're probably like, Jordan, what are you doing? What are you doing? But notice, this is, the bottom one is with the fat tip and the top one is with the skinny tip here. And they look roughly the same size. So that would be my big complaint about using the pens. You get a uniform size line, and panel gap lines are not uniform. So, you know, you're kind of left to your devices as far as making it look better. Now it's really hard to see, but this sheet here has a couple hundred panel lines cut onto it. At least 100. A couple hundred might be exaggerating. You can see here I have different thicknesses of panel lines cut. You're looking at it here. Skinny line, fat line, skinny line, fat line, skinny line, fat line. Like my shaky hands. You can get these little tiny micro lines or big fat heavy lines when you want to change up the thicknesses. If you're in need of some custom sheets, hit up our boy PJ, aka Action RC on Instagram. He's the man with the plan, and he makes all kinds of hot fire for us. So for pre-prep, just get yourself some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm gonna use the Kleenex here, and just get yourself a little bit on there. And Kleenexes can be dangerous because they do drop lint. You can see like little specks of lint on the body from where I did it, making sure that it was clear here. For the most part, there's not enough static to pull the lint there, but you don't want to use any of the ones with like lotion or anything because they'll leave like a little residue or film on the body. As a precaution, if you have a lint-free or a microfiber, that would be ideal here. I just didn't want to leave any micro scratches in the body doing this, so. I did panel line the whole body on Friday, and then I wiped these off. Little saturation. Great, I lost the spot. There it is. Just a quick wipe. Voila, like it never happened. So in theory, you could draw it a bunch of times and do it until you get them to where you like them, but I think we're just gonna go with stickers and call it a day. I like the look of stickers better, but do whatever you're comfortable with. If a marker saves you some money or some time, send it. We'll begin by coming down to our sheet and deciding which size stripe we want to go with. One of these guys will look primo. Come in, lift it. Actually, before I go any further, something that's gonna make my life easier, let's get some gloves. Alright guys, so everywhere where we crisscrossed sticker patterns, we're gonna come back and cut and clean off the excess. So we'll have there, little tiny one there. We were really clean on this one, but still a little cleanup required. A little cleanup here, and then we'll clean up this last little bit down here. Flip it, and we need it on both sides, and we'll be back. Personally, this is one of my favorite moments of working on a body because the body panel lines really bring the shell to life. Whoops, almost forgot to do the top of the doors. Nonetheless, this body really came together, and I'm excited to do some more modifications to it. What do you think we should do next? Drop us a comment below. So this is actually still marker. These radial turns are a pain. Actually saw a really cool thing. If you do own your own plotter, Erbium Works, check him out on Instagram. He cut some radius profiles. His were for around a light, but he cut the trim out to lay in so it wouldn't be as likely to peel off. That's awesome. Great thinking there. Dude always has some next level thinking coming through, so if you're so inclined, go give him a follow and check it out. This will wrap up phase 1 for Project RTR as we head to phase 2 and begin planning for some new electronics and mechanical upgrades. If you're following along at home and enjoying Project RTR, be sure to drop below and thumbs up the video and give Scale Science a subscribe. We sure do appreciate it.